Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about household items. So household items, I'm going to start in the bathroom. The bathroom is actually the room where there were the most items that I had not talked about yet. So I will talk about the item and then I will talk about kind of how we use it. So this is a toilet brush or a toilet bowl brush. You use this to clean the toilet. It is not my favorite job. I do not enjoy cleaning the toilets, but it's a job that needs to be done. Usually once a week, we clean the house and we usually clean the bathroom. One of the jobs that needs to be done when you clean the bathroom is that you need to clean the toilet. As you know, there are 7 people living in my house. The toilet, I guess the best English word would be the toilet is sometimes disgusting. That's probably the best word to describe it. And so what you do is you get what's called toilet bowl cleaner. It's kind of this blue cleaning product, and you put it in the toilet and you just let it sit for a little while, usually a minute or two, sometimes 15 minutes. And then you get the toilet brush or the toilet bowl brush. It kind of has 2 names. And you go and you scrub the toilet until it is completely clean. So that is a toilet bowl brush. I thought I would put that one first because that was the first item I thought about when I thought about household items. The next item you might find in a bathroom is a plunger. So a plunger has a unique job in the world. Sometimes when you flush the toilet is plugged. Okay, sometimes when you flush the toilet, it doesn't go down. So if you're familiar with this process, it's not fun. It's also kind of disgusting. But then you need to use a plunger. So you put the plunger in the toilet and you plunge the toilet. That's how we would describe it in order to unclog or unplug the toilet. So let me back up. You could say the toilet's clogged. You could say the toilet's plugged. I think clogged might be more common. I'm just going to ask Brent from American English with this guy just to mention in the chat. Brent, do you say the toilet is plugged or the toilet is clogged when you need to use a plunger? I think clogged is probably the more popular word. But anyways, sometimes toilets don't work right and you need to use a plunger in order to make sure they work correctly. Usually in a bathroom, and I think I did talk about this one, there is usually a bathroom scale. I don't step on the bathroom scale right now because I think it lies. Do you know what a lie is? A lie is when you don't tell the truth. So I don't trust our bathroom scale. I think it's not telling the truth when I step on it. But you will definitely in a bathroom often find a bathroom scale. Let me go. Oh, I see Rod VIP IDP is in the chat as well. Hi, Rod. Hope you're doing well today. And hello to Aniko Biro in the chat as well. So awesome to have you guys here. In our bathroom, we usually keep a mop. People might keep this in different places in their home. But a mop is something that you use to mop the floor. Oh, just let me go back. When you step on a bathroom scale, we say that you are weighing yourself, or you say, I'm going to weigh myself. So if I wanted to know how much I weighed, I would step on a bathroom scale in order to weigh myself. So that's how you talk about a bathroom scale. Sorry, what was oh yeah, I talked about plunger. So we have a mop. You use a mop to mop the floor. A mop is different than a broom. A mop is something that you put into a bucket or pail of water with some soap or other cleaning product, and then you use the mop to mop the floor. So a floor gets a little bit wet when you are mopping it because you are not, when you sweep a floor with a broom, it's a dry process, but when you mop a floor, you are definitely using cleaning solution or soap and water to mop the floor. We mop our floors usually about once a week as well. And we don't mop the rooms where there is carpet, which reminds me, I didn't put the word vacuum cleaner in the lesson. I should have done that. Let's see here. Yes, so when you are using a mop, you also have a bucket or pail. It's interchangeable which word you use. We call it a bucket, we call it a pail. You can use either word and it's totally legitimate. It's totally fine to use either word. Let me see here. The other thing is you'll notice that this bucket has a special spot where you can wring out the mop. When you have something wet and when you wring it out, and with this pail, you can put the mop in and you can kind of push, and it makes some of the water come out of the mop before you use it. So if you have a towel and it's really wet, you can twist the towel so water comes out, and we say that you're wringing out the towel. When you use a mop, I see that Q Park in the chat says, I just mopped the floor. Very cool. When you use a mop, sometimes you want to wring out some of the water when you're using it. So that's what this pail would be used for. Not every pail that we have is the pail we use with the mop. We have other pails for other things. If I was going to clean the windows, I would grab a pail from the bathroom and I would fill it with soapy water and I would go and clean the windows as well. Let's see here. In our bathroom, excuse me, 1 second. I'm going to mute myself. Just had a little tickle in my throat. Hopefully the audio is all working still. I thought it would be nice if I muted myself while I coughed a little bit. In our bathroom, we have an iron. The iron is what you use to iron your clothes. So this is a challenging word for people who are learning English, okay? So it's iron. So I am going to plug in the iron so that the iron is hot so that I can iron my clothes so they don't have wrinkles in them. I did not iron this shirt this morning. You can see there are a few little wrinkles in the shirt, okay? So if you have an article of clothing and it has wrinkles in it, you would use an iron in order to iron them out, okay? Our iron also, you can put some water in it so that steam comes out while you are ironing. Wow, if I say the word iron one more time, I'm going to start saying it wrong myself. Anyways, when you use an iron, you need an ironing board. So in our bathroom as well, we have an ironing board. This is something that folds up and we kind of store it beside the sink in our one bathroom. And you use an ironing board when you need to iron some clothes. In our bathroom, we also have a bath mat. Some people might call it a shower mat, but a bath mat is a small, soft piece of carpet that you step on when you get out of the bathtub or when you get out of the shower, okay? It's usually something that, it's like a towel, but thicker. And it's just a nice spot to step on when you come out of the shower so that you aren't stepping on the floor itself. So a lot of bathrooms will have a bath mat. Some people have a bath mat in front of their sink because they like standing on something soft while they're brushing their teeth or washing their hands or putting on makeup. So a bath mat, simply something you step on when you get out of the tub. Hey, I did want to mention that this ironing board folds up. And when we need to use it, we unfold it or we set it up. So we grab the ironing board and we set it up or we unfold it. When we're done, we fold it up and we put it back. Bathrooms have what's called a towel rack. A towel rack is where you hang your towel. So after you have a shower, your towel will be wet and you want your towel to be dry. So you will hang your towel up on a towel rack unless my children are going to be angry at me for this. Unless you're one of my children, then you just throw your wet towel on the floor and somehow hope it will dry. And then one of the parents will find it later and say, why didn't you hang up your towel? So a towel rack is where you hang your towel to dry after you have a shower. And also in a bathroom, there will usually be a towel rack with a towel for using after you wash your hands. Let's see here. We also have what's called a drying rack. There are many ways to dry your clothes after you wash them. In our house, we use what are called drying racks. So when we do a load of laundry, we will hang it on a drying rack, and then we will usually set it outside. We also used to have a clothesline. A clothesline is where you hang your clothes outside to dry. But we found using the drying racks more convenient, mostly because when the laundry is done, 3 or 4 people can hang the laundry on a drying rack really quickly. So we usually do laundry that way, where the kids actually hang the laundry on the drying rack, and then we just stick it outside if it's a nice day, or we'll actually dry our clothes inside in the winter. In Canadian homes in the winter, the air is really dry because we heat our homes, so you can easily dry your clothes inside in the winter. So drying rack, this one also we fold up and then we unfold it when we want to use it, and then we fold it up and put it away when we're done with it. And it works really good. Sometimes we put a fan beside it if it's, yeah, like in the spring and fall, if we can't put clothes outside because it's raining, we will dry them inside. Let's see here. Brent says, you mean the towel doesn't go on the floor when you're finished with it? I'll inform my children. So Brent from American English with this guy has the same problem as me. Sometimes that's how children do things. We have in our bathroom a nightlight. A nightlight is a small light. It's not a bright light. It's very, very dim. It's a small light that is only on during the night. And we have it so that in case you need to use the bathroom, or if one of the kids needs to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, then it's not dark in the bathroom. So if you can find your way in the dark from your bedroom to the bathroom, at least there's a little bit of light in the bathroom, and you don't need to turn the main light on if you need to use the washroom or the bathroom. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm still laughing about Brent's comment. Christopher says, can you dry clothes without using sunlight? Yeah, sometimes we dry them inside, Christopher, for sure. Most bathrooms will have a hamper. A hamper is where you also might throw your towel if you're done with it, if it's going to be washed. But it's generally where you throw your dirty clothes. Okay, so when you go to take a shower, you take your clothes off. Generally, if you have a hamper in the bathroom, you will probably throw your clothes in the hamper. Some people keep a hamper in their bedroom, and then instead they'll just have a shower. They'll take their dirty clothes with them from the bathroom, throw them in the hamper in their bedroom. So a hamper is just a place where you keep clothes until you do the laundry or until you wash them. And then also in our bathroom, we have a wastebasket or garbage can or the bathroom garbage. You'll find in English, we often refer to garbage cans and trash cans simply as the garbage. Like you throw it in the garbage. Did you throw that in the garbage? Where's the rest of the toothpaste? Oh, I threw it in the garbage. Okay, so we call it, the nice word is wastebasket, but you will often hear in English people simply refer to a garbage can or trash can or wastebasket as the garbage. Let's talk about the kitchen. The kitchen, again, I'm not going to talk about appliances. So I'm not going to talk about toasters and ovens. I think I did that in another video. So I basically just walked through my house and I looked for things that I hadn't talked about yet. So one of the things we have in the kitchen is we have a dish brush that we use to wash our dishes. And then when we wash and rinse our dishes, when you rinse the dishes, you get the soapy water off the dish. We put it into a dish rack. This can also be called a dish drying rack, but a dish rack has a special tray underneath so that the clean dishes, when they drip, the water goes in the sink. We actually dry our dishes with what we call a tea towel or dishcloth or dish towel. So we wash our dishes. When we do the dishes, we wash them, we rinse them, we put them in the dish rack, and then usually one of the kids dries them. Usually Jen or myself do the actual dishes. It's actually Jen more than me, I have to be honest here. And then one of the kids or me will dry the dishes and then put them back in the cupboard. We talked about brooms a little bit. So sometimes English learners get confused because when you have a mop, you use it to mop the floor. But when you have a broom, you use it to sweep the floor. So you don't ever broom a floor. That don't say that. I don't like to say things that are wrong, and I just said that out loud. When you have a broom, you use the broom to sweep the floor. So if you have a floor that's not carpet, so linoleum or tile or something like that, you will often sweep the floor using a broom, and you will most likely use a dustpan to pick up everything that you have swept together. So generally when I sweep the floor, I sweep everything into a pile. It's not really a pile, it's more like a little collection of dust and dirt. And then I sweep it into the dustpan. And then I usually throw it into, we actually throw it into the compost because everything that comes off the floor is compostable. So you would have a dustpan. Want to stop and say hi to the 534 people who are here. Welcome to this lesson. Hope you're having a good time. I just want to mention, if you're new here, don't forget there is a subscribe button right there. You click it and then you get notified when I make a new video and a new English lesson. And thumbs ups. Thumbs ups? A thumbs up is always welcome. Our kitchen has a small kitchen timer. You can just call it a timer or a kitchen timer. But this is something you use when you are cooking or baking. Let's say you are baking bread and the recipe says put it into an oven at a certain temperature for 25 minutes. You would then set the timer to 25 minutes. When the timer gets to 0, the timer will go off, okay? And it will beep. So again, let me repeat. You set a timer. So if you need to set a timer, you push the buttons. You set the timer. The timer counts down to 0. So it doesn't go up, it counts down. And when it gets to 0, the timer will go off. Similar to an alarm clock. We say that an alarm clock goes off. A kitchen timer or timer also will go off, which simply means it starts beeping. You usually push a button so it stops, and then whatever you are cooking or baking, you would take off of the oven or off of the stove or out of the oven. So in Canada, there are 3 ways to get rid of waste in our kitchens and in our homes. In our kitchen, because we have a large kitchen, we have a recycle bin. This is for paper and plastic and glass, okay? So we do not throw paper or plastic or glass in the garbage. All paper, plastic, and glass goes in the recycle bin. And once per week, we take the recycling to the road. We put it out at the road, and then a large truck comes and picks up the recycling. So we recycle paper, plastic, glass. I think that's everything we recycle as much as we possibly can. We also have a garbage can or a trash can. But again, we often just refer to this as the garbage. We throw things in the garbage. We take out the garbage. We put the garbage at the road. The garbage truck comes. I know in some US states, they use the word trash more than garbage. But in our kitchen, we definitely have a garbage can. But just so you know, we hardly throw anything in the garbage. Almost half or more of our waste, our household waste, goes in the recycling bin. Notice I call it a recycle bin and a recycling bin. You can probably use both. Where's the recycle bin? Where's the recycling bin? Yes, we use both. I think recycling bin is the correct word. We also just call it a blue box here because in Canada, all recycling bins are blue boxes. Garbage. And then we also have compost. We have a compost bin in our kitchen. Compost is any food that goes bad, that is not good to eat. We don't throw it in the garbage. So if we have meat that has gone bad or vegetables or fruit that has gone bad, we put it in the compost bin. If we have a small amount of leftovers, sometimes you put leftover food after a meal in a tin and it ends up in the back of the fridge and you forget about it, we would throw that in the compost bin. So anything that can decay, anything that is made from something organic, so any kind of food that we do not eat because it's gone bad or for other reasons goes in the compost bin. So again, 3 ways to get rid of waste. We use the recycle bin a lot. We use the compost bin quite a bit. We use the garbage can as little as possible. In fact, I think we only have half a bag of garbage per week from 7 people. And that's it. Let me check where I am here. In our kitchen, we have a fire extinguisher. Extinguisher is a great word to practice using all of the muscles in your mouth to make English sounds. So it's a fire extinguisher. You use a fire extinguisher in case there is you have a fire extinguisher in case there is a fire. So we definitely have a fire extinguisher in our kitchen. We've never had to use it, but we definitely have a fire extinguisher just in case, or in case of fire. So those two phrases are fairly common. We have a fire extinguisher just in case there's a fire, and we have it in the kitchen because that's the place you're most likely to have a fire in a home in North America. Most of the ways we heat our homes are very safe, but the kitchen is one place where you might have a grease fire. You might have something burn on the stove because you forgot about it, so you have a fire extinguisher. And then, lastly, our kitchen has become the place where we have lots of chargers, lots of phone chargers. We've tried to make a rule that our children must charge their phones at night in the kitchen so that they don't stay up late on Instagram or Facebook or watching YouTube. So we have a spot in the kitchen where everyone usually charges their phones at night. Sometimes I notice, though, not all the phones are there. We're going to talk about the living room. There's not a whole lot of other things to talk about, but I do have about 20 more slides. So you'll see here, I've just kind of gone around. Our living room actually does not have a lot of things in it. So it does obviously have furniture and it has a television, but we generally have a lot of items or household items in our bathrooms and kitchens, but the living room is usually quite clean, okay? We like to keep it clean. There might be a book or something, but there are a few things I wanted to talk about. We usually have a fan in our living room. So even though we have air conditioning, we do have a fan. This particular fan is called an oscillating fan. Here's a hard word for you. It's a fan that goes like this. It oscillates. So it's an oscillating fan. So oscillating fans are nice because they kind of go and they blow air in all directions. So we have a fan in our living room. I think I've talked about houseplants in every video where I talk about a house, but I wanted to talk in specifically about hanging plants. Sometimes we might call this a hanging basket, but sometimes in our living rooms and living areas, we will have a houseplant, but there's another type of houseplant called a hanging plant. And this is a plant that obviously hangs from the ceiling. And it's kind of cool to have a few hanging plants because they don't take up a lot of space. Let's see here. Let me go. Yes, we have what are called coasters. I'm not using one right now. This water is very cold. The bottom of the cup is a little bit wet. So I should have this cup on a coaster. We often will use coasters to protect our coffee table or our desk. So coasters are just little round pieces of wood or plastic. You usually keep them on your coffee table in your living room. And then if you have people over who have a cup of tea or coffee or juice or water, they will put the cup on a coaster. It's just a good way to keep your table clean and not to have stains form on it, especially if you have coffee and a little bit of coffee runs down the side. If it's on a coaster, it doesn't wreck your table. Hey, I just want to say hi to the 584 people who are watching. I'm always shocked by how many people watch these lessons. If you're new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button, and a thumbs up is always welcome as well. So that was it. That was the living room. And you might wonder, what about coffee table? What about couches? What about reclining chairs? Well, we did talk about all that in a previous lesson. So if you want to watch the lesson on, I think I did one on rooms and furniture, and I did one on interior decorating. Those would be quite helpful. So let's talk about the hallway or entranceway of a house. There are some things that I wanted to mention about that as well. Let's see here. Hey, I see Natalia Illusion is in the chat. Hi, Natalia. It'll be fun to talk to you later today. Rodrigo and Natalia are both here, both winners of the Lessons with Bob competition. So it's good to see you in the chat, Natalia, and I look forward to talking to you later today. Let's see here. Usually we have a mirror by the front door. We have a mirror by the front door because we want to make sure before we leave the house that our hair looks good. You want to make sure there's nothing in your teeth. You know, when you eat food, usually before I leave the house, I will brush my teeth. But sometimes you're just running out quick and you want to make sure there isn't any food in your teeth and you want to make sure you look good. Or maybe you just want to be reminded how old you are by looking in the mirror. One of the two. Sorry. There's also usually a key rack. We don't have a key rack. I wish we had a key rack by our front door or in our entranceway. That would be really handy. I think that might be something I might build later this summer, just a small key rack where we can hang our keys. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted here. We also have a lint roller. So Oscar is not a house dog. Okay, Oscar primarily lives outside and he lives in the garage. He has a little bed in the garage. That's where Oscar lives, but he is allowed in the entranceway and one little part of our hallway and kitchen in the house. So we have a little bit of dog hair in our house. Is normal. It is normal for people with pets to have a little bit of dog hair. So we also have a lint roller because sometimes you'll notice that you have a little bit of lint. Lint is small little balls of fabric on your clothes. If you don't know what lint is, check your pocket. Your pocket probably has lint in it. It's like soft, small pieces of fabric that naturally form on clothes. But you also, if you have a pet, might get dog hair or cat hair on you, and you might want to use a lint roller. A lint roller is very sticky, and you roll it on your clothes, and it picks up all of the dog hair or cat hair. Yes, Christopher, there was a giveaway in June where people could win free English lessons. So sorry you missed it, but I might do another one next year. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Our entranceway hallway has a thermostat. This is where we set the temperature for our house. So Rodrigo says, looking at mirrors, it's so cruel at this age. It is very cruel. So a thermostat is something on the wall that you use to set the temperature in your house. And then let's look at a few miscellaneous items. So these are just a few other items that you will see, a few other things, not exactly household items, but they weren't furniture and they weren't things you hung on the wall. So I did think I should talk about them. By the way, miscellaneous means something that's not in any specific category. Okay. Fun word to spell. I always spell it wrong, but miscellaneous is how you say it. So we're going to talk about some miscellaneous items. You could also say some random household items. Let's see here. Vladimir says, be careful, Mr. Bob. When putting a rack up yesterday, I drilled a wire. All the electricity was off. I do not understand how I survived. Oh, all the electricity switched off. Oh, I'm glad you did not get electrocuted. That would have been awful. Yes, I will be careful. There are coat hangers in every closet in our house. A coat hanger can be made out of plastic or metal or wood. Most of ours are made out of plastic. A coat hanger is something that you use to hang up a shirt. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted by something over there. I'll stop. I have my second screen over there, and I keep looking at my slides to see how far I am. But let's keep going. You might find some workout equipment in various places in a home. So workout equipment would be things like weights. Some people actually have an exercise bike or a treadmill in their house. We actually have some workout equipment in our garage. So we have a few weights in our garage because my wife, Jen, and myself and Lucas, my oldest son, sometimes we just like to lift a few weights to stay in shape. So you will find workout equipment. Something else we have in our garage is a ladder or step ladder. So often when you need to climb up somewhere, you would use a ladder. If I needed to change a light bulb, I would go and get the step ladder. A step ladder is a ladder that opens like this. Actually, that picture is a step ladder. A ladder is something you just lean against the wall. A step ladder opens and then you can climb up the step ladder. By the way, that red thing is not a step, but sometimes I use it as a step. You're not supposed to stand on the very top of a step ladder, but I will admit that sometimes I do. I wanted to talk about something called a garage fridge or a beer fridge or a second fridge. And I'm curious whether Brent from American English with this guy has one of these. We have a second fridge. It's fairly common in Canada to have two fridges. You have a fridge in the house and you have another fridge in the garage, especially when you have children, because sometimes things will be on sale at the grocery store and it's nice to buy extra, and then it's nice to have two fridges. Some people call it a beer fridge. Some men in particular in North America have a second fridge in their garage where they keep their beer. Yeah, see you, Brent. Glad you enjoyed it. So we would call this a second fridge, a garage fridge, or a beer fridge. We have a fridge in our garage. There's no beer in it. I think there might be one beer in it. There's mostly food because we buy food in large quantities. Brent, before he goes, says, I have a beer fridge in the garage. Yes, very common to have a second fridge. And again, it's not because we have so much food we don't know what to do with it. It's because sometimes food goes on sale, and it's nice just to be able to buy extra, or to buy large quantities of the food. There's usually a screwdriver somewhere in the house. This screwdriver has multiple attachments. We have one just like this. It's yellow, and it's just nice to have a screwdriver in case you need to fix something around the house. Every level of a home in North America has a smoke detector and most likely a carbon monoxide detector. It is the law in my part of Canada. Our basement, our main floor, and our second story all have smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. We are required to have that. And then lastly, usually somewhere in the house, there's a flashlight. And if the power goes out and it's nighttime, it's really hard to find the flashlight. So we try to keep our flashlight somewhere where it's easy to find, but it isn't always easy to find. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't.